Hey everyone, welcome to Healthier and Happier Humans, episode 14. I am Ashley McGee, and Happy New Year! I assume you made it through the holidays, you made it through New Year's Eve, you may be hungover today. That's okay, because we have a new year. Welcome to 2020. And because it's a new year, I felt like it would be the right time to talk about goal setting. And I'm actually super excited about this because this is a slightly different approach than what I have heard before or tried before with goal setting. The inspiration for the show comes from Chalene Johnson's The Chalene Show episode, which is about your year in review. So I know we're in 2020 now, but we're going to talk about 2019 a little bit first. So, what I want you to do is actually sit down and review 2019 in specifically 10 different categories. And what you're going to do is rank each category. And when I say rank, I mean rate. So on a scale from 1 to 10, did you crush it in this category? Or are you struggling a little bit, right? So 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. And this is really, really important. Gauge this based on you, right? You're not comparing yourself to your sister. You're not comparing yourself to your fittest friend. You're not comparing yourself to the self-made millionaire or the Instagram influencer. Assess this based on your personal goals and what's important to you. So the 10 categories, I hope you have a pencil ready, pen or pencil. The first is physical health and well-being. I think it's pretty straightforward. And not just like, how often did you work out, but how did you feel in your own skin? Did you get sick a lot? Did you have any major health issues? This is hugely important. So assess yourself there on a scale from 1 to 10. The second category is mental health. And this can be hard for people to assess, I think partially because we don't talk about mental health the way we should. But, do you handle stress well? Are you feeling burnout? Are you, feeling overwhelmed, depressed, anxious? Those are ways to assess your mental health. Number 3, your environment. So think about the areas, the physical spaces that you spend the most time in, and how do those spaces make you feel? So if it's work, do you feel energized when you're at work? Do you feel depressed? I will fully acknowledge, in jobs I've had where I had to work in a building with no windows, work did not make me feel energized. I need to be able to see outside. So that may be something that you consider. Or, is your home, does it feel welcoming or does it feel chaotic and messy? How do those things make you feel? Number 4, hobbies. And when I say hobbies, I mean activities that restore your energy. So not necessarily something that you do as a hobby, but it kind of stresses you out, or it may not necessarily serve you in a different avenue of your life. But truly, what are hobbies that bring you joy and restore energy? Personally, for me, I love going to see theater, going to see shows, and I also golf. Like, those are 2 big hobbies for me because they bring me a lot of joy. Number 5 is your romantic life. Rate it on a scale from 1 to 10. Are you happy with where you're at in your romantic life, or is there room for improvement? And again, rate this based on you, right? Like, just because you're single doesn't mean that you're a 1 in your romantic life, and vice versa. Just because you're married doesn't mean you're a 10, right? Assess personally how you feel about your romantic life. If you're perfectly content with your romantic life in your 2019, then heck yeah, rate yourself a 10. So I think that that's one where we can really get into the comparison game. So I just really want to nail it down. Don't compare yourself to others. Number 6, friends and family. How well did you maintain connections with the people that matter most to you? And with this one, don't be beating yourself up if you finally created boundaries with family members that made you feel unworthy, or didn't make you feel good, or the relationship was damaging. Like, that's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about people that build you up in your life. So the family that you feel good about, the friends that you choose, and they're just your ride or die friends and amazing, and the girl squad, if you want. How well have you maintained those connections in 2019? Rate yourself on a scale from 1 to 10. Number 7 is financial situation. What did your finances look like in 2019? And this can be really, really hard. I'll be honest, this is one that I struggle with self-assessing because I just don't want to think about it. And so that's something that I'm really working on, right? So again, this is the goal of this. The reason why you're reviewing your 2019 is so you know where you want to go in 2020. So that's why it's super important to look at all of these areas, because they're all super important. Number 8 is things that give your life purpose or fulfillment. So, and I mean, it could be community service. It could be, in my case, I'm building a business alongside being active duty military because my business is what brings me fulfillment and helps me fulfill what I think is my life's purpose. So how well are you doing in those areas? Number 9, spirituality. And I really want to stress here that doesn't necessarily mean you have to be religious, okay? Spirituality to me is how are you connecting with that greater purpose for your life, with the world and the people around you? Do you feel connected to being a good person? I mean, I personally am not super religious. I consider myself more spiritual than religious, and a lot of that for me is trying to make the world better than where I left it. And that's what I feel called to do. So I don't want you to feel left out if you aren't necessarily super religious, because that's not what I'm talking about here. Okay. And then number 10, personal growth. How well did you do with personal growth this year? Did you dig in? Are you a better person starting 2020 than you were when you started 2019? Okay, so now that you've rated all of those categories from 1 to 10, take a look at the 2 categories that you scored the lowest in. And maybe you had a few where they were all like 4s or something. Look at those and assess which of them matter to you the most and that you can do something about, right? So, for example, if you rated yourself low on physical health because you had an injury that you're still recovering from, well, you can't really do much except for recover right now. So maybe don't make that necessarily the category you pick in this case. It's what's most important to you and what can you do something about it. So pick one and choose that as your focus for the first 90 days of 2020. And when it's your focus, that means you're not necessarily putting all of your other goals off to the wayside, but this is, you're thinking about, okay, with every action I make, will this make blank category better or worse? I'll be honest, my focus area for the first 90 days of 2020 are my finances. So every single choice that I make, I'm going to be asking myself, is this going to make my finances better or worse? And then brainstorm ways to honor this area, to give it significance. So little actions that you can take in order to reach those goals. That way your goals, they maintain priority, and it's not just, you don't just let life happen. You are living your life with an explicit purpose. So again, I just want to recap what you're going to do for this goal setting is you're going to review your year in each of those 10 categories and rate yourself on a scale from 1 to 10. Those 10 categories are physical health and well-being, mental health, environment, hobbies, romantic life, friends and family, financial situation, things that give your life purpose or fulfillment, spirituality, and personal growth. Once you've gone through that, decide on the one category that means the most to you and that you can do something about. Make that your priority for the first 90 days of 2020, which, hey, if you're watching this on the first, that's the next 90 days. And ensure that you ask yourself, how can you make this better? How can you improve this area every choice you make? I would love to hear from you what your first category is going to be. Let me know. And I'm so excited to start 2020 with you and grow and continue making our lives the best they possibly can be. So until next time, go out and live your healthiest and most abundant life and let me know about those goals. Love you. Talk to you soon.